guys, I'm here today sharing a flip through of a journal I made based on memories as far as that date back to childhood. So not just documenting, you know, photos of my children, my husband and I and friends, but things that really remind me of my childhood and growing up. So I thought, what better journal to use than the Pokey Little Puppy. I used to love this book. I just remember like the hot pink against the green. I mean, I love how the colors complement each other, and the puppy, of course. So it was a little golden book that I actually took apart. It wasn't in the best shape. I couldn't find one that was really in very good shape, except one that I own that my children have, and I didn't want to tear that one apart. So this one I used the front and back covers and actually stitched them onto this fabric, which I'll show you. And the spine has some buttons on it. And then this is actually old sheets I had when I was a kid. They're Cabbage Patch Kid sheets. My grandmother had some of this stuff still. And this was my mother's charm bracelet. It has her initials on it. I found it in her jewelry box after she had passed away. And this little piece of corduroy is from a pair of pants that I made. My grandmother helped me make. And I had the corduroy on them. So, yeah. And what fun is this trim? I just think that's so cool. So I have a little tie, lace tie here. And then you can see in here, this is all fabric, but reinforced with cardstock in between, and then the little golden book. And here I actually found this. It reminds me, I loved strawberries as a kid and strawberry shortcake, like anything strawberries. So I found that and I just threw it in here. And I had a fabric sheet because it kind of smelled with all the old things. But this is a handkerchief that I turned into a pocket. And then I kept the first page, original page of the book, copyright 1942. And then this one says 1982 printing. So I turned that into a pocket, little lizard in there. And I used to love Raggedy Ann, so I made a pocket. I happened to find this at the thrift store while I was making this. It was too perfect. So I turned her into a pocket. Little vellum sheet here. I like this. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. I think my husband gave me that quote off of one of his little daily calendars his boss got him. And I just think that's a great quote. I have some children's books in here. I'm not sure if I picked certain things for any reason or just because they were cool. I'm not sure, because that's not ringing any bells. I love birds, so there's the birds. Now this was a Barbie dress that I had, and I just put it in here with a little flip so I could journal underneath, because I love that. And I think this actually was either my mother's or my aunt's or both, their Barbie's dress, and then I got it. So I thought that was super cool because my daughter ended up having it then, and I said, I think I'm gonna take that. Some old vintage receipts. I love unicorns, still do, so I had to put that in there. It's a cute one. This part is from a grade card, an envelope. My grade card came in this envelope in, like, I'm not sure what grade. I think it was elementary school. So I thought that was a neat envelope to put in there. Put a picture in there. This is a watercolor painting I did. I'm not sure which grade it was. It's supposed to be a conch shell. My family, we're huge Star Wars nerds, so I put that in there. So there's some current, you know, stuff, but most of it. And I love Star Wars as a kid too, so it goes. This really has no meaning. It's just cool. There's that blue corduroy again. Just some pocket pages. And then here's part of Florida. I lived part of my life in Florida, so I added that on there. And actually, I lived in Orlando, and they're around Orlando. Altamont Springs, there's that. Oh, I never noticed. In Winter Park, I lived in all those little places in Orlando. And then, let's see, Tampa, we went to Tampa a lot. My mother moved around the area, so that's perfect that that's in there. Here's another art project I did back in the day. And this is just, I turned a brochure of where I currently live into a little envelope. So I'll just have to paste that down. Here's the other side of that map. And the pocket page. And then if you watch the video, I did the flip through my grandmother's memory journal. I had some of this velvet fabric where my grandmother helped me make a dress out of this. And it used to be a curtain, and everyone laughed that I had a dress made out of curtains, which was true, but I loved that dress and I don't know where it went. But yeah, so I had to put that in there because that's one of my fondest memories. Sewing. I like to do some sewing, but I don't really enjoy sewing fabric. I more enjoy sewing paper. The other side of that shell, and then I put in, you know, the definition of my name and one of those like baby name books. Here's the other side of that grade card. It's got my name on it. Unicorn. Other side of that receipt. Personality disorders. There's a member of my family that really fits this narcissistic personality disorder. No one that's close to me now, but I put that in there because it was fitting. And my husband and I got a kick out of that, so. And here is old Care Bear sheets. My grandmother kept a lot of my old sheets, and Care Bears and Cabbage Patch Kids were like my faves. So I was happy to add that little flip out on there. And then there's some more of the Pokey Little Puppy book, and I turned that into a pocket. And then here's the Cabbage Patch sheet again. That was a little bit was on here, just a tiny bit. You can kind of see the flowers that were on there. And there's my grade cards. That was 6th grade. You don't want to see my grades. They were okay. They were pretty good. That's when I moved from Florida to Ohio, so I was in the middle of a school year and I had a lot of catching up to do. Just an envelope that I turned, you know, a couple little pockets. This is some eco-dyed paper that I made, and this one I had like some chicken wire that left little marks in it. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, vaguely. And then, let's see, this was part of a magazine, but what I really wanted out of the magazine was this. I loved and still love the Beatles, so I was happy to put that in there. A pocket page that's a map, and I'm not sure, is this more Florida or Ohio? Ohio. That's why I put it in there, because I live in Ohio, always have. Well, other than my few years I lived in Florida, so. And this was, did I make this a pocket? No, I just sewed it. My mother sewed this for me when I was a baby, or maybe even before I was born, I'm not sure. So I thought it would have a good home in my journal. And I just took it out of the frame and just stitched it right in there. And this was something my grandmother had, and I turned it into a pocket. I thought that was so cute. Queen of Hearts, and I love Alice in Wonderland. Some vintage wallpaper, Pokey Little Puppy, pocket page. Oh, and I made that into a pocket. And this is like one of my favorite Pokey Puppy images, back to the whole strawberry thing, which I should almost put that strawberry here. That would be cool. But yeah, I always loved this one as a kid because of the strawberries. Another art project, perspective. Let's see, tree book. Because of dogwoods, that's why. Dogwood is my favorite tree. We always had them where I grew up. I'd love to climb on them, and loved the whole story behind the dogwood blossom. So I put that in there. Sheet music, Poor Old Crow, and then there's crow paper behind it. Crows are like my spirit animal. I love crows. They have a deep meaning to me. That's a whole nother story, but I had a really, I had a really close call with death, and crows were in my near future after that, so they have very, a lot of significance to me. More art projects, and then I loved this little old book page. This was out of a little golden book as well, and obviously it has my first initial, so I put that in there. A vintage Alice in Wonderland page. I love that airplane, and that seems to be my life. My mom lived in Florida all my life, most of my life, and I was constantly flying down to Florida, so airplanes were a big part of my life. This was wallpaper, or it was like, what do you call that? Border, in my bedroom as a kid. And so my grandmother still had a roll of it, and I thought, how cool. And it was self-adhesive, so I had to put this on the other side, but how cool to have a piece of that, because I actually painted it and decorated it myself. So when I say I was a kid, I was like junior high, high school, I guess. And then I think I'm going to glue that shut to make a pocket. Photo pockets. More Alice in Wonderland. And then this one has Z on it. My daughter's name is Zoe, so I thought that was really cool. The other part of my art. My crows. More crows. More plants, trees, the flowering dogwoods. The other side of the perspective. Pocket pages, the vintage wallpaper, and I made a pocket out of this Simple Simon little needle point thing that my grandmother had. Other side of that Ohio map, the pockets. NASA, when I lived in Florida, I was obsessed with going to Kennedy Space Center, and I loved everything about space. So I put that in here. I remember when the Challenger blew up, I was, yeah, horrible. So there it is, you can see there, the Challenger. And this is so sad about them sending animals into space. That's so sad. Here you can see that's the eco-dyed paper, and you can kind of see the chicken wire better there. Other side of the envelope. And this didn't turn out the best. My family, my grandfather, my husband, we all are Cleveland Browns fans, so I had to put that in there. This was my great grandmother's, one of her crochet squares. So I tried to put that in as a pocket. You can see it kind of moved and got moved around, but you know. Other side of my grade card. And the Cabbage Patch sheets. And then the back, I just have a little library pocket and card. And there is the back. And it just, like I said, goes together with a little lace tie. So I hope I didn't babble on too much in this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this flip through, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye guys.